You're talking UK numbers. I mean, the Scottish data are much more promising, aren't they? Deaths and ICU admissions and hospital admissions all down from their peaks in late October, November, still on a downward trend. Are you saying, though, you would like this relaxation cancelled? People should not be seeing their relatives at Christmas?
Well, I don't want that. None of us want that. But I'm very aware that Nicola Sturgeon and the First Minister in Wales have tended to be much more cautious in their pronouncements than the Prime Minister in England. And I get the sense that they are very worried about what will happen as a result of this 5-day relaxation of the rules. And certainly in Wales. I mean, Wales is in a very different position to Scotland with rates rising despite the restrictions that have been imposed in England.
So do you think then this relaxation should be cancelled?
I thought the proposal that we're making is that certainly in England the tier system that's in place should remain in place across the 5 days of Christmas, and that the tier system itself should be reviewed because it is not succeeding in suppressing the virus. Rates are going up in tiers 2 and in tiers 3 in England.
To be clear then, this is an English suggestion. This is because of the pressure on the English NHS and the English infection rates. You are not talking to Scotland here, or are you? We thought you were.
Certainly the data that we're presenting comes from England. And we know that Wales is in a very similar situation. I think the situation in Scotland is more favourable, but I'm also very aware that Nicola Sturgeon has suggested that caution is required, and one gets the sense that the four ministers, in hammering out the 5 days, that it was really, well, I mean, I'm assuming that it was largely pressure from England that led to this slightly, more days than might be necessary, and more households than might be necessary. So in terms
of a four nations approach, then should they stick with a four nations approach? What would you like to see?
Well, a four nations approach is ideal for communication, but actually the four nations have diverged, and I think there's no reason why the four nations shouldn't diverge in this as well. And I certainly feel that England will need to do this if the NHS is not to be overwhelmed, and it seems that Wales will need to do it too. As for Scotland, if the data are more favourable and trends are coming down, it may be that the people in Scotland would be able to enjoy a few days of gathering, but of course very cautiously. I think Nicola Sturgeon has been very clear about that.
Fiona, thank you. Fiona Goodley, Editor-in-Chief of the British Medical Journal. It's just after 5:30. And the news from Nina.